Well, hello, fellow travelers. I am Dr. Richard Hector. Welcome to Soucouyant, a Caribbean supernatural tale, where we reimagine the Soucouyant, a character from the folklore of the Caribbean. Here, we follow her as she is depicted in Trinidad. Her depiction might be different in other places in the Caribbean. If you know about Soucouyant, I hope you like this reinterpretation. If you are new to Soucouyant, I hope you enjoy meeting this new character and that she motivates you to look into other folk characters, not only from the Caribbean, but also from other places. Episode 12, Soucouyant, a Caribbean supernatural tale. Sometimes the predator becomes the prey. The previous episode was, let's say, intense. Mr. Lee did indeed force himself on the waif, Gemma. However, it did not go as he expected. Instead of a shy young woman, he met the Soucouyant. As she drank his cotinine-laced blood, he was accepting his death. In this episode, we learned that the Soucouyant did not kill Mr. Lee. Here, we see him negotiate to save his life. He managed to get the Soucouyant to grant him 3 wishes. However, with magic folk like wizards, fairies, genies, and the Soucouyant, you had better craft your wishes very, very carefully. Oh God, you're murdering me, he managed to say weakly. She sat up and looked at his face. That's a word for it. I would choose a different word, but the result is the same. I'll be leaving your lifeless body, your corpse, in this store. Oh God, stop, please. When you called God a moment ago, you didn't want me to stop. She clamped down on his neck again, swallowing rich red blood. Oh God, I'm sorry, he begged in terror. Now you're sorry. What are you sorry for? She sat up and asked. Taking advantage of you, he stammered. Ah, you taking advantage of me, are you? No, not you, of those girls. Is that the word for what you did? No, please stop. I'm sorry for raping those other girls. Now, doesn't that feel better? Truth frees the conscience. But I'm still going to kill you. You can think of it as murder if you like. You promise to give me whatever I want. You can't give me anything if I'm dead. Moi? Me? I didn't promise you anything. Yes, you begged me. I don't remember that. Me? A young, strong Chinese woman promised you something? Her tone was filled with pretend surprise. You were Creole, black, Afro, Gemma. He was weak, dizzy, and nauseous. He was feeling a dull headache, like being hungover. His skin was clammy. His breathing was rapid and shallow, making it difficult to speak. Oh, that, she said, and stood up from him. He remained slumped in the chair, his arms hanging limply at his side. Look at me, she compelled him, and his droopy eyes opened and looked at Gemma, standing naked in front of him. Okay, Toiseux, number 1 son, who wanted me to be a statue, I'll grant you your wish, and it had better be good, or I'll murder you anyway. Let me live and count my dollars from sunset to sunrise for many years to come. She threw her head back and laughed. Compound wishes. You are clever. I see why they called you number 1 son. You managed to cram 3 wishes into one. She continued. But what if you count all you have?
You make it that I can count till sunrise. I don't care how you do it. Ah, ah, I don't care if you have to steal it from somebody, he said. She picked up her clothes. As she got dressed, she told him, "You'll sleep the rest of the afternoon and wake up just before sunset. You'll take the night deposit and go to the Chinese Association and have wonton soup for dinner. Then you'll count your money from sunset to sunrise. You'll do that every day for many years to come." Wait, not every day. You said sunset to sunrise, okay? She laughed and said, "You won't have to do it on days when there are no sunset or no sunrises." That's every day. Only if it's cloudy, you don't have sunset or sunrise. She laughed again. The sun sets and rises regardless of clouds. You get a day off when the sun doesn't set or rise. The sun will set and rise even when I'm dead. I have to count when I'm dead. I don't have control over death, number one son. So that part of many years to come, I can't grant you. But I promise you, you will be counting till your end, after a few years or after many. She was fully dressed and started walking past his nude body. "Oh, did you say dollars?" "Oh, you did say dollars, didn't you? You can count dollars. How about 20? Yes, there are $20 in a $20 bill. Please, I don't understand." He tried to speak, but his eyes were closing as he saw her retrieve the keys from his crumpled pants laying on the floor. He saw her let herself out and throw the keys back into the store. They landed and skidded on the tiles. He saw her look at him, but appeared as if she were down a long corridor. He saw her mouth open, and she threw her head back, but he did not hear her laugh through the glass door. Then everything went black. He awoke with a pounding headache and an ache in his stomach from hunger. He fell back when he tried to push himself up. The pain in his elbow was quick and powerful. A short scream escaped unbidden. He guarded his arm as he got to his feet and dressed. A short sounding of a car horn made Mr. Lee look at the door. It was probably a taxi trying to get attention for a possible fare. Soft light muted the colors outside, and the store window lights flicked on. The coming sunset reminded him that he had to start counting his dollars. He cinched and secured his belt as he hurried upstairs to get the night deposit. He didn't recognize the guard on the sidewalk as he expanded the accordion door. When he locked the gate, they nodded to each other, and the guard walked to a waiting patrol van. Mr. Lee hurried off to the Chinese Association on foot. On arriving inside, he ordered a bowl of wonton soup and hurried to his usual table by the window overlooking Charlotte Street. This was a main street in Port of Spain and had lots of vehicle and foot traffic all through the day and late into the evening. He didn't even look through the window. Instead, he gulped down the soup without tasting it and ordered a second bowl. He ate that more slowly and ordered a third. The waitress watched him with interest, but didn't comment as she removed the empty bowl. Finally, he ate the third bowl at his normal pace. As the sun splayed gold against the walls, he turned on a table lamp with green shades and opened the night deposit bag, set a $20 bill on the table in front of him, and set the bag on the side. He waited with satisfaction as the sun winked over the horizon. With a smirk and a small laugh, he reached for the night deposit bag to continue counting. On doing so, he glimpsed the $20 bill and decided to start counting with that bill. He counted it and reached for the bag again. But much to his surprise, he counted the $20 bill again. He was at first puzzled by his fixation on that single note. The fifth time he counted it, the waitress walked to him and put a hand on his shoulder. He looked up at her. "Are you okay, sir?" she asked. Mr. Lee looked into the face of the young Chinese woman. She was not the waitress. He looked around for the waitress, who was nowhere in sight. This was the woman from his store. Her face was gentle, but her eyes held familiarity and knowledge. "You just have to keep counting. The sun will be up in the morning." He smiled back and nodded as he reached out and counted the same note again. She patted his shoulder before she turned to walk away. She said, "Look, I will even heal your elbow for you." Instantly, the soreness dissipated and his elbow felt better. He smiled and thanked her, even as he felt the compulsion and terror it brought swim into his consciousness again. He counted the bill as he watched her reach her post and turn to face him. He picked up the note and returned it to the table, counting it yet again. Tears welled up in his eyes and rolled down his cheeks. She smiled and walked out of his line of sight. A sob escaped his lips as he picked up the note and counted. As the evening wore on, other members entered the room and some greeted him. He nodded acknowledgement and kept intently counting. They started games of chess, checkers, and some gambled at poker. Some watched the day's news on TV, others read the newspapers. As the evening wore on, more and more persons made sidelong or furtive glances at him and talked about his strange behavior. A few concerned friends approached and struck up conversations which he could share while picking up and replacing the same $20 note on the table. He could carry on any conversation, but became incoherent if they asked about the repetitive counting task. After several hours, the room emptied as the men and women left for home or other places. Numerous members studied his strange behavior as they left the room. The doors were never locked because members were coming and going all through the night, even if the pace had slowed a lot. The waitress brought him tea and offered more soup before she had to leave at the end of her shift. Mr. Lee asked about the other waitress, but she was puzzled and informed him that she was the only one working that evening. Mr. Lee ate the soup and poured cups of tea without stopping his counting. He even took the $20 note with him to the bathroom and counted it while he emptied his bladder. In the following episode, we witness Mr. Lee face his first day living with the curse the Soucouyant placed on him. He tries desperately to wish it away. However, he can't, and he is forced to begin the most difficult journey of his life.